Wild Dream Story 2. I wrote a little like treatise in the Glory New Year issue, so any believer would have read it. But until recently, Marshall Eisenhower has steadily begun to take all positive steps. I've gradually learned from the external power, but what I'd like to say about it is the direction of Europe, which wasn't part of the previous dream story. A well-known Western-style painter, who I have been acquainted with very recently, stayed in Paris for 2 years, but he visited me early in the morning. So I asked him about the situation in Europe. However, I was surprised because it fits my imagination too much. That's because, as I always say, it's hard to believe that the people in Britain and France are doing well. For example, the general idea of both nations is that they frequently store money, saying that they must be prepared so that no matter what happens to the country. As a method of doing so, it is said that the amount of gold wire, which is made of many thick and thin types, is secretly bought and sold, and the amount is very large. The reason why it is made into wire is that it takes time to make it fine with gold nuggets when buying and selling. But it is not surprising that wire can be cut freely with a pair of scissors. Also, as mentioned in newspapers, there is little motivation to work, and I am only thinking about playing, and it is said that entertainment venues are an economy that should not be pushed. The food shortage in Britain, which is also well known, is so great that it is incomparable to Japan. Then, when I asked why I wouldn't cultivate the fields of doshi doshi, I don't know the answer again. This is because Japanese people immediately put hoe and sow seeds even in a small pen, small open space. But British people do not have such a thing, and they are only thinking about importing anything from foreign countries by the government. That's right. There is no word for the sadness of the people of the country. As you can see from the fact that Japan's cotton cloth surpassed Britain 2 years ago and became the number one in the world. Even though Japan has restrictions on cotton cloth production, Britain's Lancashire has full capacity. Even if you exclude it, you will not be an enemy. So you can see how the people are not lively. That's why there are so many things that there is no heat for the armament. And even if the United States lends a lot of money and hits the earth, It is understandable that it doesn't jump as expected. That is why Secretary of State Futura State Dars recently went to Europe to visit each country one after another. However, it must be noted that the lack of such an English-French fighting spirit poses a serious problem in the future. In anticipation of this situation, the Kremlin will be laughing in the north. And of course, it is proceeding with a planned operational plan. And when the time comes, it will be a major invasion of Europe. Moreover, we must assume that there is a good chance of success. Moreover, it goes without saying that the Soviet Union's aim is Britain. So it can be said that the fate of Britain is a light of the wind. Just thinking about that, the United States is not worried and is impatient that Europe must take the plunge and strengthen it. Moreover, there is a serious problem here. It is because the United States is going on a big operation to overthrow the Chinese Communist Party at all costs. So this conception is not easy. So we defeated the Chinese Communist Party as planned and the Korean War. Even if there is a paragraph, it will be difficult after that. That is because the US strength of the United States will be considerably weakened, and in the unlikely event that it should be prepared for considerable difficulty in providing European assistance. Taking advantage of this, it is clear that the Soviet Union will challenge Europe with the strength it has accumulated rather than burning it. This is the beginning of the Third War, and it will be a catastrophic battle between dragons and tigers on the world Cyprus stage. Let's leave this alone for now and keep it as the situation progresses.